Hola, estudiantes. So today we're going to go over lesson 1 in book 3R. I know some of you might not have this book, so if you do, that's great. But if you don't, that's okay as well, because I've figured out a way for us to do some of these activities just through these videos. And I can also show you the activities online throughout this lesson. So if you have the book, just follow along. If not, that's okay too. So we're going to start with lesson 1 on page 1 of book 3R. So if you'll just flip to that page, we'll start. So, some of the goals of the lesson that we're going to go over today is this lesson 1 is going over some grammatical things that English follows, such as go versus play and what phrases you use that with. We'll go over that. We'll also review past, present, and future tenses. Just reviewing over that because I know we've gone over that in the past, but if you haven't, that's okay too, because we'll review it. And then finally, this lesson is focusing on talking about activities you like to do. So things like sports, hiking, jogging, things like that. So first, we'll go into some vocabulary, which you'll find on page 1. With the pictures. I just included some here just to get us started, but if you go online to the book, or if you have the book with you, you'll be able to see more of this, and I can share where you can find that book later in the lesson. But first, we'll just go over some vocabulary. So first, over here, where my cursor is, we have the phrase go shopping. So you can see here, family at the grocery store shopping. And then also we have go fishing. You can see 2 people here fishing. Over here we have play soccer. And then down here, play piano. Play piano. So that leads us into the lesson for this part of the book is go versus play. So generally, in phrases, you would use the word go before verbs that involve activities. So for example, we have go hiking. It's a verb because of that ing there. Go fishing, go dancing, go camping, go running, go walking, things like that. You would use go before verbs that are activities. And then play is generally used before nouns like instruments or games or sports. So for example, play baseball because baseball is a sport. Play piano because it's an instrument. Play video games because it's a game. So generally these are the rules for this type of phrase. Obviously you can say, I want to go to the park, things like that. But this is only, in this context, go versus play is for talking about activities or things you do or play. So you don't only have to use go or play in these scenarios. Just in this context, it's important to know the difference. So to practice that, you can go to page 2 in your book, or if you don't have the book, that's okay. And you go to activity B, and you'll see 2 columns just like this. So on the left here, we have the word go, and then on the right, we have the word play. And so basically, you're going to take these words over here, camping, football, cards, piano, tennis, shopping, skiing, board games, biking, baseball, and fishing. And you're going to take these words. These are all of the vocabulary words that you can see on page 1. If you need help throughout the activity, you can just flip to that page and it'll kind of tell you the answers. So don't rely on it too much, but if you really need help, you can go back to page 1. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to take each of these words and put it in the correct column, using the rules that we just learned for go and play. So for example, camping, you would just say to yourself, would I go camping or would I play camping? And whichever one you think the answer is, you just put that word in either column. So if you have the book, or if you would like to work on a notebook and just figure out this activity real quick, you can pause this video, do the activity, and then come back. So I'll give you some time to pause. So hopefully you're back from doing the activity, and so we'll start with camping. So camping is an activity, it's a verb, so it would go under go. Next we have football. So football is a sport and it's a noun, it's a thing, it's not a verb, so it would go under play. Next we have cards. Cards are also nouns, they're things, but they're also a game you might play a card game, so go under play. Next we have piano. Piano is an instrument, so you would obviously play an instrument. You wouldn't go piano, you would play piano, so that would also go under play. Next we have tennis. Tennis is a sport, so according to the rules that we learned, it would go under play. Next we have shopping. So shopping is a verb, you can tell because of that ing after at the end of it. And because it's a verb and it's an activity, you would put it under the go column. So you would go shopping. Next we have skiing. So skiing, you might say it's a sport per se, but you would also see from our rules that we just learned that it's a verb because of the ing, and it's an activity. So you would say you go skiing. Then next we have board games. So board games is pretty easy. Games is in the title, and we know from our rules that you play a game, so you would put it under the play column. You would play a board game. Next we have biking. Biking is a verb, an activity, so it would go under go. Then we have baseball. Baseball is a sport, so you would play baseball, put it in the play column. And then finally we have fishing. So it's a verb and an activity, so you would put it under go. So finally, going over everything in the go column, you should have go camping, go shopping, go skiing, go biking, go fishing. And then in the play column, you should have play football, play cards, play piano, play tennis, play board games, and play baseball. And then next, we are going to focus on past, present, and future tenses and verbs and questions and answers, which you can see on page 2 of the book. Move myself down here. So first we have the past, el pasado. So a question you could ask is, when did you go dancing? And the clue here is whenever you use questions in the past tense, you usually use did. So when did you go dancing? And a possible answer for that would be, I went dancing last night. So went here is the past tense of the verb go. So I went dancing last night. Next, we have questions and answers in the present, el presente. So when do you go hiking? So do is a present tense word. And then going into the answer, another present tense verb, we have I go hiking on weekends. Next, we have the future, el futuro. So the question is, where are you going to play video games? And the answer, I'm going to play video games at home. So generally in the future, it's important to use going to. And this signals that you're going to do something later on. So just to review, in the past, usually questions have the word did in them. In the present, usually questions have do in them or another present tense verb. And then in the future, generally, questions and answers are going to have that going to, but they don't have to. But going to is a good indicator that you're talking about the future. So now we're going to go into a practice activity that you can access either online or in your book if you have it, or if you don't have access to that, then I'm going to go over it in the video. So let's do that. Okay, so we are in the book again. We're on page 3 and we're doing activity F. So I'm just going to go over the answers very quickly so that this video isn't too long. But the first question here is already done as an example. So as you can see in the question, that did right there, that's bolded, signals that we're going to be talking about the past. And so in your answer, you want to make sure that you're using the past tense as well. And they did, they used the past tense of go, they said went. So the full sentence would be, we went camping last weekend. Number 2 is also in the past tense because of that did. So it signals that we need to use the past tense of this verb right here, go, again. So the answer would be I went, the same as number 1 over here. I went hiking at the lake next to my house. Number 3 is not in the past, it's in the future tense, and you can see that because of the verb structure going to. So they used are because they is plural. So are they going to play tennis tomorrow? It's in the future tense. So you need to use that same future tense in your answer. So they already have the going to part. So you just need to add play. So right here you should have written play. Yes, they are going to play tennis tomorrow. Number 4 is in the present tense because of this verb right here, does. So does is the same as do, but you add that es because she is a singular person, one person. So this is the present tense because of does. And then in your answer, you need to use the present tense as well. And in this case, that verb would be plays with an S. So Plays. She plays video games after school. And the reason you add that S is because she, again, is a singular person. Number 5, where do they go dancing? So do and go are both present tense verbs, so that signals that we need to be using the same tense in our answer. So they would go dancing out downtown. So the verb is go. They go dancing downtown. Number 6, again, you can see that this is a future tense question because of going to. So in your answer, you need to use the future as well. So the answer for number 6 is yes, we are going to play games tonight. Number 7, we can see that this is the past tense because of that word did. So it's the past. So you need to see, well, actually, in this case, you wouldn't use the past because this is switching from past to present. And you know that because of Sunday, you can kind of infer that that's in the future because they're talking about Saturday as it's in the past. So for this question, this is a little complicated, but the answer for number 7 would be no, he's going to play tennis Sunday. Because he didn't play it Saturday, so he's going to play it Sunday in the future. Moving on to number 8. This is also in the future because of going to. So is Sean going to play baseball this afternoon? The answer, yes, he is going to play baseball this afternoon. So remember, with going to, you need is or are to go along with it. So he is going to play. Now we're going to do a little speaking activity. little speaking practice using these same questions, as well as the past, present, and future, kind of combining everything we learned about go versus play, talking about what we like to do, and these different verb tenses. So, speaking practice. Question number 1. What do you like to do on the weekends? So you're going to answer it yourself out loud. I'll wait for your answer. And then next, I'm going to give you an answer that I might give. So a possible answer could be, I like to go shopping. So this is combining a couple of things. First, we have the present tense verbs do. So in your answer, you need to use the present tense verb. So this would be go, play, things like that. Also, we combined what we learned about go versus play. So shopping is an activity and it is also a verb because of that ing. And so I use the verb go. I like to go shopping. Okay, question number 2, we're going to focus on the past. So what did you do yesterday? You can kind of think about your answer and say it out loud. And then a possible a possible answer I might give is, I went to work. So the reason I use went is because this is a past tense question because of the word did here in the question. And then went is the past tense verb of go. So I went to work. But you might say something like, I slept, I ate, I talked to my family, things like that. Just make sure you're using the past tense verb. Next, we have the future tense. So what are you going to do tomorrow? Going to. So make sure in your answer you use that going to because we're talking about the future. So think about your answer and then say it out loud and then come back. Okay, now that you've said your answer, I'm going to give something that I might say. So for this, talking about the future, what I'm going to do tomorrow, I would say I am going to talk to my friends. So again, this is a future tense, so you need either is, are, or am, and then the going to. So I'm going to talk to my friends. Next, we are going to go over everything that we learned in today's lesson. So today we learned the difference between go and play. We reviewed the past, present, and future tenses by asking some questions and answering them, and also doing that lesson in the book. And then we also talked about activities that we like to do. So maybe you like to go shopping on the weekends, or maybe you like to hang out with your friends, things like that. We combined all of these in our conversation practice, our talking practice that we did. And so at the end of this lesson right now, if there's anything that you're still confused about, you can go back later in this video, watch that part again, and then do the activities in the book again. There are so many activities in the book that you can do. I just chose a couple that I thought were useful. Leading into that, it's important that you practice on your own. Do other activities if you can in today's lesson 1 of book 3R. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to intercambio.org. This right here, you can just type this into Google on your computer or phone. And then to access the student books, you can click on the link that says shop. And then the Intercambio books, you can go to student books. And then this book that we're working on right now is 3R, Trace Ere. And then you just flip through until you find lesson 1 and then do some of the activities. Also, if you would like to practice your listening skills in English, you can download the Intercambio app on your phone. And it has a bunch of different listening activities you can do with the book to practice. So I hope you guys have a good day today, that you're studying English a lot, that you're doing okay in these quarantine times. And then I'll see you again in our next lesson. Adios.